All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Cisco TV studio. Coming at you live here from Barcelona, Cisco Live 2018, and another fantastic innovation showcase. This time on data center innovation. So much useful, applicable information from Ish, from Jan, from Ignacio, learning how to use Insight to take action in our data center, whether that is on-premise or in the cloud. Leveraging the powerful combination of Nexus Cloud Scale switches, and ACI, and Cloud Center, and Tetration Analytics. Having that power right there at our fingertips to be able to gain agility, to scale, to deliver more operational simplicity and security in the data center. Again, great innovation showcase. More of them coming up over the next couple of days. Check your Cisco Event app. Make sure that you are on top of all that is available to you. Now, I want to continue this conversation on the intent-based data center, really try to understand more about what makes that architecture run. I've got Lior Goldgraber here with me. Lior, thanks for coming on in. I'll drag you in closer to me. All going well. Thank you for taking the time. I know you got a crazy hectic schedule, so thank you for joining us here. Lior is head of EMEA DC marketing with us here at Cisco. All right, kick us off. What are the current market dynamics that are happening in the data center space today? What are the challenges we're looking at? How are we solving those challenges here at Cisco?
Okay, so basically what we see in the last mainly 5 to 7 years is a major change for IT professionals in this space. So we are looking at it, we call it the perfect storm on 3 different verticals. So one of them is about the workloads, where they reside. So it was very easy 7, 8 years ago. Everything was in the data center, floor -5, everybody knew where it is, and then we started to see shift to a managed services, data center services. We're seeing a move to private clouds, and obviously public clouds becoming very, very interesting in the last 2-3 years. You know, in Cisco Live 3 or 4 years ago, when we talked about public clouds, everybody said, is it really happening? Is it really serious? And so on. Today, no doubt. So everything is moving there. This is the first vector. The other one is what IT is doing. So IT used to control everything, right? And what we see as we move forward is that budgets are moving out of IT to other departments. We are seeing DevOps guys becoming very, very vocal and asking for their services. We are seeing developers becoming the #1 customer for every IT professional. So if we don't give them what they want, they cannot deliver the apps that the business requires. So that's the second one. And the third one, we are seeing a major shift of how applications are being developed. So again, from monolithic, very easy, here's the code, resides on a very specific server. We are going to containers now, where I like to call it the virtualization of the virtualization, because 7, 8 years ago, with the introduction of virtualization for the first time, we start seeing multiple machines running on one physical one. Now we are seeing multiple instances of a code running somewhere. And this brings us all to the discussion of multi-cloud, which is the major transformation that we are all trying to solve in the end of the day, because customers want to use all these great public clouds, move these workloads as we just described, and we want to make it easy for them, which is a challenging task, but we are doing that. Yeah.
How quickly is this taking place? I mean, the demand has got to be incredibly high. How do we keep up with that demand, and how do we do it securely? There's really a second part to my question.
That's a great question. So it's all about, you know, what we're here to discuss is the intent-based data center. So basically the whole architecture that we built, you know, Cisco is in the data center business for the last 10 years. We started with switches, then we went to compute, now we're doing a lot. All the rest, almost all the rest. And we're doing that with our partners as well, the ecosystem partners and so on. But basically, all the products that we deliver and all the products that we develop and the software that we build in the last few years are all to serve one purpose, to enable this multi-cloud journey. Because in the end of the day, customers, this is what they want. They want to wake up in the morning, they have a request coming from the business, they want to make sure they can deliver it in 1 hour, half an hour, whatever it takes. And we are here to solve them this main challenge of the business.
So let's go back a little bit. So you just popped up multi-cloud. I wanted to go there anyway with you, which is just great. Give me multi-cloud from your perspective. Explain how you view multi-cloud, about how the industry looks at multi-cloud, what it really means, but more so how it relates to the IVDC.
Okay. Another great question.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to follow you down the path. You're setting me up. I'm just teeing them off here.
Perfect. So when you look at multi-cloud, there is customers are looking today at running apps in the best way. That's the main challenge. Obviously, in a secure manner, we'll get to security. Without security, we have no reason to be here, right? So this is their main task. Now, the options are there. They can go to public cloud services, they can build their own private, they can do whatever they want. So the options are all there. Now, the decision that they need to take is if they have 200 applications. Just for an example, this is a small customer with 200. We have customers with thousands of applications. They need to take a decision, what's the best venue for this specific application? That's the main question. Why is that? Because it needs to be cheap, needs to be secure, needs to be very, very agile, and if they want to move it between different public clouds, they want to do it on the fly because nobody wants to get married with a public cloud provider, right? Like with any other vendor in the industry. So this is how I see that. You know, you wake up in the morning, you have a lot of options where you want to go, and you need to pick the best venue to go to get your stuff going. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go to some hard examples here at this point. Give us a sense of the products, the technologies that are supporting the IBDC architecture today. What is really exciting you out there from what you're seeing in the field right now?
So I'm excited about the innovation that we had in data center in the last 2-3 years mainly. We did a lot there. We had a lot of launches. We just introduced two new products here at Barcelona. And I'm very excited about what we are doing in the UCS space, you know, in the compute space. I always remind our customers and partners 10 years ago, when we started talking about it, everybody laughed at Cisco.
Yeah.
They said, guys, you lost it. Look where we are today. So this is one of them. The next one, HyperFlex, extremely interesting. We started selling HyperFlex, actually we brought it to market 2 years ago. It just flies, rock high. So very good traction there with customers, and we just announced the new version with a lot of new capabilities that enable, again, the multi-cloud journey. Basically, everything we do, we look, does it actually deliver what we need for multi-cloud, or it's just another feature? And this is how we test things. So that's the second one. The third one we announced a few months ago, Intersight, which is our cloud-based UCS HyperFlex management system, but we have so many customers coming to see the demos in the booth, you know, and see that it's actually alive and doing what we intended to do, by the way. So
yeah, this is beautiful because, again, by having the people here in the room with us, we can show it to them one-on-one. I'm so sorry, but I want to make sure that people know where you are. Head straight down the hallway into the world of solutions.
Yeah.
Go and talk with Lior and his team. And again, they'll explain the intent-based data center to all of you. Lior, thank you for your time.
Thank you a lot.
Really appreciate the opportunity for the two of us to chat here today. And enjoy the rest of the week here. Hope you'll come back and visit us a little bit more again throughout the course of the week.
Steve.
Okay, so we're going to turn our attention now for the next couple of minutes to some terrific videos. We are going to look at our Cisco Network Assurance Engine, then we'll look very quickly at Cisco HyperFlex 3.0, and then we're going to hear from one of our great customer partners over at Bosch. First up though, Dhruv Jain and Rob Boyd sat down for a demo of our Cisco Network Assurance Engine. Let's go ahead and let's watch that right now.
Hey guys, I'm in the data center booth here to talk about one of the newest products that Cisco has recently rolled out, and it's really solving problems in the data center. And I want to make sure we get this right. So Dhruv, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us here.
So this is the CNAE, because we try to make everything an acronym. That one doesn't roll off the tongue as well, but it's a Cisco Network Assurance Engine. Is that correct? Can you tell me what it is and what we need to understand about it?
Sure. So the Network Assurance Engine is the third and sort of critical pillar of our intent-based strategy for data center networks. It's fundamentally that ability to give the network operator the confidence that the network is indeed operating exactly as they intended it to, exactly as they expected it to, right? And we do this using some really cool mathematical modeling that I can talk more about.
Please.
So the way it works is we actually build mathematical models of the entire network. It's based on Cisco's unique patented network verification technology. And what we do is pick up the entire state, the config state, the data plane state from the network devices. We pick up the policy from the controller. We pick up the intent, the operator intent, and then we build mathematical models of this entire network. And now, once you have models, software representations of the entire network, you can ask those models any possible what-if questions, right? You can ask it questions around, is my security intent correctly met? Is my forwarding state in a good place? Are all my endpoints behaving nicely, right? And so that becomes a fundamentally new way of how we build and manage data center networks.
Okay, so one of the first things I think of when I think about instilling confidence and getting started with something that's going to model the network, I mean, when you say mathematical models, I assume there's some type of a learning behavior that is happening. What is the initial experience like for customers who are going to get started with this? Do they have to know a lot about their network to get this up and running to that initial state?
Great question. So it's actually the other way. What we are building it's called formal methods, formal models. And this is not machine learning. This is not learning the behavior of the network. It's actually modeling it accurately, which means, and the way we have actually architected the product, this product takes literally 30 minutes to deploy. And in 60 minutes, it is spewing out results, assurance results, analysis results, accurate results about your network and your fabric, right? That is a tremendously short time to value. That is, unique in the industry.
So give me an idea of a couple of use cases. What are the top things that customers would say, boy, I have needed this because I can now do this?
Fair enough. So the first and most valuable use case, Rob, is around change management. Right? Forever, we've been in networking, and we've never really had meaningful tools to check, to verify the correctness of our changes. In the developer world, software developers have a whole host of tools to do that, from build testing, unit testing, functional testing, and so on. But in the network world, there's nothing. With Candid, with Cisco Network Assurance Engine, Candid was our internal code name, we've brought that ability to networking for the first time, that customers can actually predict the impact of their changes and find issues that would otherwise normally just be caught in production weeks later.
And so therein comes some of your confidence and such like this. Before you make a move, you know exactly it's going to do what you expect it to do. You understand the intent, your intent is reflected correctly. What about things like security or in multi-tenancy situations? Is this a help in that area?
Yes, so that's the second, probably most interesting use case, is around security policies. To be able to assure your network security policies, ensure compliance by design, by construction with your policies. We actually build models of the entire security space, all your contracts in your network fabric, we model them, and now we can reason about all of your security policies in one place. That means if you want to assure that, hey, I have isolation between these two tenants, you can check that by design. You want to make sure that A can talk to these 5 other endpoints, you can check that by design. You don't need to wait for any data packets, we don't look at any flows, you just see this based on the policies that you have configured. You can look at millions of policies and be able to understand them in ways that have just not been possible before.
So you mentioned 2 use cases, let's see, change management, security, but there's a third one you said was very important.
Yeah, so because the Network Assurance Engine analyzes the entire dynamic state of your network, we can actually look at all your forwarding state, all your endpoints, all the time, continuously, and make sure we catch any inconsistencies in the dynamic state relative to your intent. Maybe you've got overlapping subnets, maybe you've got duplicate IPs. We can catch that before any data packet even comes into the network, right? And that's the power of being proactive.
Well, what I like about what you're saying there is you're saying that there are problems in our network sometimes that don't manifest themselves in things that are very obvious, and so they become lurking issues, or they create latent issues that come up later when we never want issues, but they come up later when it bites us harder perhaps, and you're saying we can get on top of these things because of the increased ability to understand the models about what is and what should be in our networks. So you guys have this product now available, customers can purchase it, customers can use it, but you did a lot of testing with customers beforehand. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we actually started off our early field trials in early summer last year. And so we've worked now with close to 40 customers, and the feedback has been phenomenal. Right, we've got phenomenal feedback on the user interface, the ease of using it, also the ease of deploying this product. As I said, it's 30 to 60 minutes to value, right? And then finally, the power of proactive in finding these issues. We have found $1 million failures in customer networks and proactively avoided these issues in customer networks as part of just our field trials. And so we're now in production, and customers are using this as part of in their production fabrics now.
So I want to make sure I understood that correctly, because when you say you found $1 million failures, what you found is a potential for $1 million failure before it cost anything. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. You guys have worked really hard on this. I encourage everybody to come by the booth, take a look at the demonstration, because it is a very visual experience, and that's part of how they drive simplicity with understanding what's happening in your network. It's the Cisco Network Assurance Engine. It's available now. Come check it out in the data center booth.
All right, thank you so much to Dhruv Jain and to Rob Boyd. Boy, if I had a nickel for every $1 million failure I've had. We're going to move directly into another video without any delay. Our own Lauren Malhoit sat down with Liz and KD, and they did a demo of Cisco HyperFlex 3.0. Very, very cool. I want to check out the technology right away without any more delay. Let's go directly to that VT right now. All right, you got it. Welcome back, guys. Every now and then, these kinds of things occur. This is the beauty of live theater, right? And this is how you know that nothing that you're looking at is canned. We're going to get that video up and running in just a moment. I want to remind all of you, while I've got your attention back again for just a moment, that coming up at 5:30, which is a mere 15 minutes from now, we're going to have Sachin Gupta here in the studio with us. Sachin is Senior VP of Production Management for Enterprise Networking. These are golden opportunities. This is an opportunity for all of you to connect in via Facebook Live, ask any questions you like. I've been told that we've got our video back with Lauren, Liz, and KD. Let's go ahead and roll to that right now.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the HyperFlex booth with Liz Santoni, SVP of Cisco Computing Systems, and Katie, the VP of Product Management for Cisco Computing Systems. We're of course going to talk about the new HyperFlex 3.0 announcements. Liz, can you tell me a little bit about what you guys announced last week?
Happy to. So we released HX 3.0, which is one of our biggest releases yet. And the vision that we had is any cloud, any application at any scale. And what we did with HX 3.0 is execute on that vision.
That's all we need, right? It's all about simplicity, all about flexibility, all about scale. Katie, tell us a little bit about, well, the data center is all about the application, right? That's what it's always been about. What can HyperFlex do to enable the innovations around the app?
So what you need for an application is you first of all need an operating environment. Then you need an execution environment, and then you need to feed that into a resiliency strategy that you're enabling. On the operating environment, we had VMware. Now we've got Hyper-V support, so you can have any hypervisor. It's a multi-hypervisor platform. And we just released container support, so now you can do containerized application. And that, along with integrations with Cloud Center, now allows you to do the application blueprints that can place applications anywhere you want. On the execution environment, we announced much larger scale, so 64-node scale, nice, with availability zones built in so that you don't tie yourself up with the rope we give you. And then that feeds on all of the prior innovations around how do we feed into a brownfield environment that has converged infrastructure and hyperconverged living together without creating new silos, right? And finally, the question is how do you feed this into a strategy that supports resiliency and availability? And a key ask, especially in this region in EMEA, was around stretch clusters. So we already had native replication in the product. We already had integrations with leading backup vendors. But now what we're bringing to the table is stretch clusters, which brings that resiliency strategy to the next level.
That's fantastic. So what kind of workloads can we handle then with the new HX 3.0 and you know, given that we have the availability zones and all of that good stuff?
Yep. Great question. So from a workload perspective, the short answer is it can handle anything. But the question that you've got to ask yourself is what do you need to handle anything? What you need is an infrastructure that has the performance to handle everything, that has the consistency to handle everything, and finally you need recipes that make it really easy to deploy the application. And that's where we really shine, because we've got experts who've had decades of experience fine-tuning the applications, fine-tuning the infrastructure, co-designing hardware, software, application recipes. So now we can handle any app, whether it's Oracle databases, or whether it's SQL databases, whether it's enterprise applications like Exchange, like SAP, whether it's Cisco applications like Unified Communications, which is really popular, whether it's security applications from Cisco or networking applications. And finally, there's the gateway applications, right, which like VDI or test dev or robo, which is what a lot of customers get started with, and then they migrate rapidly to these new applications.
Sure, and I love that we can handle all of that. I know customers are really looking for a kind of a templated way of doing things, so they don't have to be an expert for everything. Also, kind of, I don't want to say buzzword, but something that people really need to consider is multi-cloud. So Liz, can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing multi-cloud-wise in the new version?
Yeah, so cloud's inevitable because the benefits of cloud are definitely undeniable. If you look at it, 87% of our customers either are using or plan to use hybrid cloud. And more than 94% of them are actually multi-cloud today. So what we're doing is enabling our customers through this multi-cloud journey. So if you look at our solutions today, we have everything that goes from how you actually decide on placing your apps, where you place them, whether the apps need the mobility across your data center and multiple clouds, and then the performance monitoring of those apps, regardless of where they sit. So what we're doing is enabling our customers through this multi-cloud journey.
And I think that's fantastic. Offering one way to do it, not having to have several skill sets for everything. Thank you so much. And Katie, do you have anything to add to multi-cloud?
No, I think Liz said it perfectly well. I mean, you need the ability to take an application, develop it on a private cloud or a public cloud, and be able to move it, be able to create templates and blueprints, which we do with Cloud Center integrations, and be able to place that application, be able to place it optimally, which is what we do with the Cisco Workload Optimization Manager, CWOM. That's integrated in, so now you can actually place the application in a way that ekes out the best performance, and finally guarantee the SLAs that you're promising to your end customers with integration with AppDynamics, which allows the APM functionality within it. And together this toolkit, plus the operating environment of Hyper-V, containers, VMware, allows you to create an application, deploy it anywhere, and be assured that that application is going to perform.
Fantastic. You heard it here. Any cloud, any app, anywhere, making it easy to scale. Come on and visit us at the HyperFlex booth. Come have a coffee at the HyperFlex Cafe, or visit us online at cisco.com/go/hyperflex. Thanks, everyone.
All right, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Lauren Malloy. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, KD, for taking us through that demo. Any cloud, any application, any scale. That really tells the story, and Lauren nailed it as well, where she said, this is about simplicity. So much of what we talk about is taking the complexity out of the operation, making it easy to apply, highly applicable, and get it to work in your organization as rapidly as possible. Great stuff. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. All right, one more video that we want to share with you. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to sit down for a few minutes and talk with Jan Holtzman from Bosch. You probably saw Jan in the last Innovation Showcase. Hopefully you were in there for that conversation. But we were discussing the Bosch data center network. We were talking about the transformation of that network and also that need to adapt for better customer delivery and QoE. Let's go ahead and dive into that video right now. I hope you like what you see. Welcome back to the Cisco TV studio here at the World of Solutions. We're going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about how Cisco is delivering intent for data center networking. I've got Jan Holtzman here in the studio with us. You are team lead for data center operations, central networking services for Bosch. So I'm so glad to have you here with us. Thanks for joining us today. These products that we're talking about, we are enabling digital transformation for so many companies. Bosch has been an amazing success story on this front. So why don't you begin by telling us about some of the challenges that you were facing at Bosch in the data center environment. What did you have to accomplish? What were you looking to do?
Of course, let me start from the beginning. So Bosch is a global enterprise. We have around about 400,000 employees spread across more than 1,500 different locations with a huge variety of different products, of different businesses. So we have our household appliances on the one hand side with dishwashers, for instance. On the other hand side, our power tools with the drilling machines. We are still the world's largest automotive supplier in the world. And then also we have other new environments like sensors which we deliver around the world. So this is our traditional business, but our business is changing. So our business units, they are going the way of the digital transformation. So they make that Bosch will become an IoT company. And with IoT, we all know it comes to network. And this is our challenge. So the business demands have changed on the way of high availability, so zero downtime, high quality, and on the other hand side of speed of the deployment, so time to market. And for time to market for us means automation, and this is our hugest challenge right now.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the technologies that are making that transformation possible within the data center. So let's look at CNE, Cisco Network Assurance Engine. What sort of benefits did you see from CNE? What sort of help were you able to get for Bosch?
So first of all, we are the very first productive customer using Cisco Network Assurance Engine. We have it now up and running for close to 1 month. The biggest advantage what we see, it supports us in our current migration of applications from our legacy data center infrastructure towards ACI. So we get an immediate feedback from the Network Assurance Engine how the application is behaving, if there are some issues, and that we can immediately resolve it. During our first installations, we have already seen that we could solve issues even before our customer could recognize it. So we have some wrong programmed entries, and we could solve them, and without any impact to the application side. On the other hand side, Cisco Network Assurance Engine brings a huge benefit to our daily operations. We have the correlation of alarms and of the entries inside of the environment. So we have the smart events, which supports us in our day-by-day operations on a global scope. On top of that, we are having a global network operations center. These colleagues are doing first and partly second level operations for the complete Bosch network. So imagine that. They are doing operations in the campus LAN environment, they are doing WAN topics and also data center topics. So for them, and this was a multi-vendor environment, different solutions, different platforms, different services, they need to be able to operate all of these platforms. So it's very hard for them to dig there deeply in the technology and stay there included or involved. So Network Assurance Engine, with its unique possibilities, creating the smart events, as I said, but also providing a way how to resolve issues, will enable them to support us in our operations, and that's amazing.
It is exciting. It's a very, very complex process, but it's very exciting to see it all coming about. Advanced services, also really instrumental, right, in your success for your own data center goals. What really stood out for you? How have Cisco Advanced Services really gotten you where you needed to go?
Oh, very good question. And let me say that when we started with our ACI project, we included Cisco Advanced Service in the very beginning. We had them involved in our design phase, when we made the architecture, when we made all the fundamental decisions, naming concepts, how to create the services, how do we want to deploy them in our data center. We involved them also in all this stability testing and the feature tests within the labs, but also in the very first deployments for quality topics, for checkings, in the migration phase for supporting out there with guidelines and support, but also for supporting the general operation task and in the enhancement of our environment. So I honestly need to say, their support speeded up our overall project. We measured that, and without Advanced Service, we wouldn't been at the today's stage where we are right now. They brought us speed and quality, and this is the most important topic, and therefore I honestly want to say thanks to our Advanced Service team. They did a fantastic job.
That's fantastic. I want to end our talk here by having you look into your crystal ball, tell us a little bit about the future here. You are well on your way. Bosch is creating intent-based networking. You're using, we said, our network assurance engine, Cisco ACI.
Yeah.
What sort of possibilities do you see this creating for Bosch in the months and the years ahead? We're talking to each other 2 years, 3 years from now. Where do you think you're going to be?
Okay, let me start with ACI first. So for ACI, we are first of all going the journey of automation. Right now we have admin work tools or workplaces or panels where we as network engineers can automate our data centers with one click, just create the configurations in there, but also our server teams are using that. We are going to integrate this in all the workflows and the tools that directly a customer will provision the network on its own without us anymore. That's great. And then of course we are going on the way of the integration. So we want to integrate on the one hand side into the VMM domains and into hypervisors of our server teams. On the other hand side into our container platform using the CNI interface. And of course also in the platform as a service level with OpenShift. That's for ACI. But for Network Assurance Engine, I want to give the ball back to Cisco. I want to challenge Cisco on that part.
Okay.
So I listened to a presentation of Network Assurance Engine from Tom Etzel in the past. And there he explained about the possibilities Network Assurance Engine will create. So having on the one hand side the policy, your intent, how your data center policy, the configuration should look like. But on the other hand side, having all the program or the ASIC states, the forwarding tables, and the real how your network is really behaving. So you have both topics together and you have both inside of Network Assurance Engine. And for me, it was immediately clear. It's a game-changing technology. Now you have a tool available which knows how it is really and how it should be. And it also knows basically what to do to solve it. So my dream, my wish to Cisco is bring in automation capabilities to solve issues automatically before our customer sees an impact to its network, so that we have a kind of self-healing data center. This is my wish for Network Assurance Engine.
Way to throw down the gauntlet, I love that. Again, it's all about the collaboration and the cooperation. The best way that we can do that, we need to listen to our customers and our partners telling us, here is what we need you to do. Everybody's going to see this and they're going to know. Jan Holzman, a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Thanks to all of you for tuning in as well. Hope you're loving your week here at Cisco Live.